everybody, Daniel Rodriguez here, and welcome to my spoiler review for The Strain, Season 4, Episode 5, titled Belly of the Beast. As usual, it should take me 2 minutes to recap the episode, then give you my pros, cons, and final score. I am a few weeks late. I have finished all of it. I caught up the week to week. I ended up going to Seattle a few weeks ago, and everything just kind of went all out of place, man. We were hit by Hurricane Harvey, and I was in Seattle and coming back and, catching up and work and everything like that, man. So I'm finally able to get my review out now. I know it's been many weeks since this episode has premiered, but for those who end up watching this and, hearing my opinion and hearing what I thought about this episode, I appreciate it, and I appreciate you. And as always, let's go ahead and get right down to business. So thanks again for joining me, and let's go. So we begin the episode with Ephraim and Alex walking through this ghost town. They end up stumbling through a phone that was just randomly laying around. It belonged to a little girl named Emily. With that, we end up going to the more interesting part of the episode, which was the flashbacks, which we haven't got a flashback in quite a while. This one dealt with Quinlan, not like Satrakian, or it was Mr. Quinlan. So anyway, flashback where Quinlan is in Victorian-era London. He confronts this girl, and she's like, "You're immortal!" So Dutch is taken to Icorst, and she ends up locating Satrakian. Back to the flashback where the girl is... the girl's husband, if I'm not mistaken, it was either her husband or her brother. I'm getting totally confused here. What I wrote down was husband. Where she wants him to have a cure. He's very sick, and Dutch ends up creating a riot. Now she ends up saving Satrakian, and they burn Icorst, but yet one of the partnership employees ended up putting him out. So Fett and the crew end up stopping by. They end up stopping a convoy. They end up getting the pit for the warhead, and they end up losing a few mercenaries along the way. Back to the flashbacks. The brother, like I said earlier, the brother ends up dying, and Quinlan has makeup on, and she's putting makeup on him and making him look human with the wig and everything, so he actually looks like the actor, which is really amazing to actually see Quinlan in makeup and see him be like a regular human for once. And he has a human look, and he ends up having sex with her, and just more of a sense like a vampire style, sucking on her blood, and that's sexually aroused by her. So the master is in Victorian London. He's in the England over there, and he ends up getting out of his box, and he ends up draining this priest. Now, Ephraim and Alex end up finding this camp, and it's a lot like the concentration camps back in World War II, but this time, it's just now in this world, they're like cattle. The humans are like cattle, and they're put to work, and it's torment, basically. With that, now they know, he ends up knowing that Zach's alive because one of the people they met earlier in the episode is now dead, and kind of followed them there, and the master is looking through her eyes, and basically the master is talking to Ephraim, saying that Zach's alive, and that he knows where he's at, and that he knows where Ephraim's at and everything, and that, you can't stop me, I'm coming for you. All that sort of cliche villain-esque type of stuff. Anyway, now on to the pros and cons. Like I said earlier in the video, my favorite thing about this episode alone is just the flashbacks. I always love FX flashbacks. With multiple shows that they've done, they always do some sort of flashback. And I think The Strain really go into a different time period and different era. They're just so damn good at that, and with setting and with costumes. All around, it just makes The Strain, it's interesting altogether, man. I love this show very much, but thinking about a Victorian era type of Strain, like if that could have been, like every episode could have had a flashback throughout the whole series, kind of like how Arrow does it, that would have been really awesome to see, and more of Quinlan's backstory through the times of every single time period that he's gone through, and different people and humans that he's met and that impacted him. Now, while my boy Satrakian doesn't really say much or do much in this episode, since he's been really lying there in bed for who knows how long and just abused and with the IVs in him and all this stuff, man. So Satrakian, now we finally get to see him a little bit more. And I just don't care. David Bradley is just so fantastic actor. I love Satrakian. Even watching finally to the series finale, I won't spoil up to there yet, but all I'll say is Satrakian is really laid back in this season alone. He's very pushed back, and he's not really in the front center as he was the other seasons, and I'm kind of sad about that, but I'm kind of happy about it. But I wish we saw more Satrakian. The past 5 episodes, he's basically maybe seen once, maybe seen twice, maybe seen a third time, and that's it. He doesn't show up anywhere else, and that's just kind of the sucky thing, man. But for the little Satrakian that we did get in this episode, and the little small parts of being reunited with Dutch, it's just great to be reunited and see these characters together once more. Now, for those who have been watching my Strain reviews for the past years, you know that I'm not a big fan of the whole master look now. I mean, I like the design, and don't get me wrong, but you can't go and you can't be as badass as Season 1 Master, full CGI. I mean, some was practical, but I'm saying the CGI, huge, intimidating vampire, that was amazing. And getting to see the Master like that again in the flashback and draining the priest, that is scary. That's horror right there. And I that makes my day when I see that, when I saw that in the episode. And last with the pros, deals with the concentration camp in a sense for the partnership. I will say this, throughout the next 5 episodes until the series finale, we do talk about the concentration camp, is what I'm calling it, basically what it is. But there's nothing really ever done we never go firsthand inside that place. So I'm just saying, I feel like that's kind of like, look at that, and then nobody ever does anything or really just put it to the side, right? Not a huge deal. They're all fine, right? Nothing of a big deal. So I think that was kind of a little with writing there. But still, the whole camp, and it's a scary holy thing, man. I mean, having humans again and being like cattle and the strigoi all over them, it's horrible. And then also with at the end the Master knowing and looking at Ephraim, and especially using the girl from early on in the episode with her eyes and all of that, man. I think I wasn't a huge fan of Alex and Ephraim during the episode. I think Alex really slows Ephraim down, honestly. She just slows him down through most of the season, and I never felt that chemistry, or never really felt her need in here. The same with Fett and his girlfriend, whatever her name was, Michelle or something this season. She just wasn't needed. They're just slowing these characters down. And that's how it feels really with me, with Alex and Ephraim and Fett and his girlfriend. But either way, that's not there with Fett and his girlfriend in this episode. More of this sense, the whole Master seen through the eyes and the voice and the scariness. And again, it has those little scary vibes into it, and actual horror vibes that made Season 1 so great. So I'm happy they kind of brought those little elements back into this episode. Now jumping over to the cons, I-Course he was on fire, and then they ended up putting the fire out. I mean, come on, people with a partnership, the employees, are you really like, oh look, the leader's burning, let's just let him burn, let's not put him out, let's just back away and leave. You could have easily have done that, and he would have probably been toasted for it, maybe. You shouldn't have put him out. I just think that's unless those were really loyal people. Other than that, you should have just walked away. As well, this really is probably my least favorite episode out of the season. I think this is the weakest episode out of the final season, Season 4. Again, Alex and Ephraim, very slow. It's a slow-paced episode. And Dutch and Satrakian, the Satrakian scenes. It's good to see Satrakian again. But there's not, I want it to be bigger. I just wanted it to be more. And Satrakian's all weak and stuff. So there's not much you could get off of that. You have to wait even more few episodes for a bigger, reuniting and all that other stuff, man. So it was more of just a slow-paced back episode. They find a phone, like the odds of the phone still working. And everything like this, it was just a bunch of writing stuff and steps that I felt like that wouldn't have happened. Like, that's just TV right there. This doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. This is, make it feel a little real than just, okay, this happens and then that happens and then that happens and then I feel really this maybe episode could have been half of another episode, and you could have got other stuff done than what they did during this episode and just kind of dragged it on for 43 minutes. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm going to give this episode for Season 4, Episode 5, Belly of the Beast for the Strain, a solid C. As of right now, this is probably, again, the lowest episode for the season, my least favorite. It has good moments, the flashbacks and the Master, of course. That's great. But the other stuff, I love these characters, but it's nothing really interests me that much of this episode where I was getting bored. I was just bored of this episode for the most part. And then you have to wait another 7 days, and it's like... Anyway, so that's how I felt there. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. If you enjoyed me, you could make sure to like, comment, share, and hit that subscribe button. Make sure to tell me down below if you agree or disagree with me on how I felt about the episode. Thank you guys so much again. Till next time. Bye-bye.